Waalaikumsalam.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Nahmaduhu wa nusalli ala Rasulil Karim. As usual, first of all, let's say many thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our creator, our sustainer, our giver. He's all giving. He has created everything for us. Everything that we need in our life has been provided by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we also send salawat and salutation to our Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, also to his family and his companions. Okay, how are you today? Are you today?
Fine, I'm fine.
Topic today is the absolute value equation. This is the topic. This is the topic that we are going to discuss today. Is about the absolute value equation. The absolute value equation is the equation that contains absolute value and some variables. Okay, let's display and what's value that concern the application of absolute value equation in our life. Figure out.
If you think about it in terms of a segment. So our absolute value equation would be our with some we're going to look at using absolute value in real world applications. So we're going to look at some various examples that'll show you how you can use absolute value, come up with equations, and find the answers to absolute value word problems. So Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia is 1,149 meters long. Because of changes in temperature, the bridge can expand or contract by as much as 420 millimeters. Write and solve an absolute value equation to find the minimum and maximum lengths of the bridge. Now, before we start, remember, guys, that the 420 is in millimeters, and the length of the bridge is in meters. We want those to be the same. So millimeters, we can write as meters by making this into 0.42. So with that in mind, our optimum value, what we want the bridge length to be, is 1,149 meters. That's what we want the bridge to be. And that's really, when we're talking about an absolute value equation, that's our midpoint value. That's what we want it to be. But we're allowing the bridge to vary by as much or as little as 0.42 meters, which is 420 millimeters. Because remember, there's 1,000 millimeters to 1 meter. So it's a little less than half a meter. Okay, and that's the distance from that midpoint value. So that's how much we're allowing it to be bigger or smaller. So if you think in terms of a segment, or what we've been doing in the past, we can go plus 0.42 or minus 0.42, if you think about it in terms of a segment.
Isn't the title Sydney Harbour Bridge in Australia, because of change in temperature, the bridge can expand or contract by as much as 420 millimeters, or if it is converted to meters, it becomes 0.42 meters. This equation can be written in mathematical equation, and the most suitable model for this equation is absolute value equation. This is the absolute value equation. This is the absolute value equation. We are going to learn how to solve this problem, how to solve the absolute value equation. The absolute value 8 minus 1,149 equals 0.42. Okay. Can you solve the problem? Can you solve problem? Can you determine x such that if absolute value 8 minus 1,149 equals 0.42? Can you solve the problem? Who can solve the problem? Okay, by the concept of the distance, it can be interpreted as the distance x to 1,149 equals 0.42. But in this case, we have two possibilities for x. X may be the minimum length of the braid, or maybe the maximum length of the braid. So how after learning the absolute value equation is for you to solve this problem. It's for you for the problem. Okay.
So our absolute value equation would be our want it to be, guys, it 0.40 and contracting in a different way. It says the Sydney Harbor Bridge is 134 meters tall. So we're talking about a difference in height. The height of the bridge can rise or fall by 180 millimeters because of changes in temperature. Write and solve an absolute value equation to find the minimum and the maximum heights. So once again, you can see that we have meters and millimeters, so we want to change this to meters, which would be 0.18. So we want the bridge to be 134. That's the optimum value. And another way of thinking about that, once again, if we're thinking about our segment, is that that's the midpoint. But we're allowing it to vary by 0.18 meters, which is the same as 180 millimeters. That's the distance from the midpoint. So we can either make it 0.18 more or 0.18 less. So there's our absolute value equation. The 134 is...
Okay, according to the value that have we just watched, because the change in temperature set the harbor bridge. See, the harbor bridge can rise and fall by 180 millimeters, or it is converted into meters. It becomes 0.18, and this situation can be written as mathematical equation, and the most suitable model for this equation is the absolute value equation, like this below. It can be interpreted. The absolute value x minus 134 equals 0.18 can be told that this done of 8 to 138 equals 0.18. I think I'm sure after learning the absolute value equation, you can solve this problem. You can solve this problem easily. Now let's go back to our slide. And our slides. Okay. Wait a minute. Can you see the PowerPoint? Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, I can.
I'm seeing. Good. The learning objective is student is able to first solve the equation containing absolute value, especially by the concept of the distance. So after learning this material, all of you should be able to solve the equation containing absolute value by the concept of distance. Is the first learning objective, and the second, every one of you must be able to solve the equation containing absolute value equation by the definition. So I'll have you after learning this material, you can solve the problem concerning absolute value equation by two ways. The first way by the concept of the stand, and the second way by the definition. Then I want to relate our material to the previous one. Okay. A absolute value x, or we can say absolute value x to 0. Now, what is the interpretation absolute value of x? What is the interpretation of the absolute value of x? What is the interpretation, the absolute value of x? You can use number line to describe it. You can use number line to describe it. Use the concept of the stand to interpret the absolute value of x. We can answer, please. Naila, Toyibatus. What is the interpretation of absolute value of x? You have learned this method, I don't think. Maybe Pahira, what is the interpretation of absolute value of x? Please use the concept of distance. The absolute value of a can be taught as the distance of x to 0. Absolute value of a, we also can say absolute value x minus 0. Yeah. Let me remind you about absolute value of a by using the concept of distance. The absolute value of x can be taught at the distance of x to 0. In words, absolute value of x, the distance of x to 0. Okay? And b, absolute value of 3, or absolute value 3 minus 0. What's the interpretation of the absolute value of 3? Kansa, I want your answer. I want your answer.
Can you hear me?
The distance of 3 to 0.
Okay, correct. Who answered it? Who answered? Who has just answered? What's your name? I hear boy voice, not girl voice. Okay. C.
Muhammad
Absolute value -5. What is the interpretation of absolute value -5?
the distance of minus 5 to 0.
Okay, correct. It is that of negative 5 to 0. And then, what is the interpretation of absolute value of x minus 4?
The distance of 6 to minus 4.
Not minus 4, not negative 4.
0 to 4. 0 to 4.
0 to 4. Yeah? Because the distance of x to z to 4, not 0. If the absolute x, the absolute value x minus 4 can be interpreted as the distance of x to 4, not negative 4. Distance x to 4. Understand?
Understand lah.
Reverse the distance of x to 4. X, distance x to 4. X to 4, not negative 4.
Oh.
What is the interpretation of the absolute value 3 minus a?
The distance of 3 to A.
The absolute value 3 minus a can be taught the distance as the distance of 3 to a or a to 3. Because the distance 3 to a equals the distance of a to 3, 3 to a. The distance of 3 to a equals the distance of a to 3. In other words, the distance of 3 to a or a to 3. What's the interpretation of absolute value w plus 7? Not that w plus 7 equals w minus negative 7. Larissa, can you answer? What is the interpretation? The absolute value w plus 7 by using the concept of the distance.
W to minus 7.
Please speak loudly so that I
W
can
to
hear you.
minus 7. W to minus 7.
The distance of w to negative 7. Okay. This is simple absolute value equation. Can you give the interpretation of the absolute value x equals 4? The absolute value x equals 4. Can you give the interpretation of this by using the concept of the distance? Yes? Now we are trying to solve the absolute value equation by the concept of the distance. This is the absolute value equation, the simple absolute value equation. We are trying to solve this problem by using the concept of distance. At first, you can interpret this equation.
The distance of 4
The
to
distance
0.
of x, the distance
of
x to 0. Repeat after me. The distance of x to 0.
The distance of x to 0
equals
4.
Equals 4. It can be taught that the distance of x to 0 equals 4. So can you Can you determine any real number 8 such that the absolute value of 8 equals 4, or such that the distance of the real number to 0 equals 4? It means that this number on the line 4 units away from 0. What is it? Can you tell me the real number on the number line 4 units away from 0?
4 or min 4.
How many possibilities? Only
Two.
one possibility?
2.
Oh, have 2 possibilities. Can you mention them?
4 or
Minus
minus 4.
4.
Okay, good. Negative 4. So x may be negative 4 or 4. Take a look at this. Inverse, yeah, we can say the distance of x to 0 is 4. Take a look at it. Take a look at 0, 0, 0. How many numbers? How many numbers 4 units away from 0?
4.
1,
4.
2,
4.
3, 4. First possibility is number 4, and the second possibility,
Negative 4.
negative 4. So negative 4 and 4 are the solution to this equation. We can call 4 and negative 4 the solution to the absolute value equation. A equals negative 4 or A equals 4. The solution to this equation, absolute value equation. So the set of all solutions to this equation is set. It's set negative 4, 4. Who can interpret this equation by concept of distance? Okay. What is the interpretation of the absolute value of 8 minus 2 equals 3?
X is minus 1.
X.
I don't want the final result. Yeah, listen to me. What is the interpretation of the absolute value 8 minus 2 equals 3? I want the interpretation of the equation, not
The
final result.
The distance
distance of
between x and
to
minus 2 is
is
3.
Is
Okay.
3.
One by one. Okay, Abdullah Al-Fatih.
The distance of x to minus 2 is 3.
Not minus 2,
I mean,
not negative 2.
I mean 2.
Two.
The distance x to 2 is 3.
Yeah, okay, correct. Inverse, the distance of x to 2 is 2. Very good. Take a look at number 2. Which number is located 3 units away from 2? Can you tell me the number is
Negative 1 and 4.
located 3 units away from 2? How many possibilities for x?
2.
2 first possibilities, correct. Okay, can you tell them? Can you mention them, I mean?
Minus 1.
Negative 1 and 5.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5. 1, 2, 3. Negative 1 and or 5. So negative 1 and 5 are the solution to this equation, the absolute value equation. Okay. Good. What is the interpretation of the absolute value equation?
distance.
Not that. Not first. Not that. A plus 3 equals B minus negative 3. A. Please tell me the interpretation by using the concept of distance.
The distance
Distance
of P
to
to minus 3 is
Okay.
1.
is 1. Okay. Take a look at this number line below. Find out negative 3. Where is negative 3? Negative, this is negative 3. Can you tell me the number? The real number? The number 1 unit away from negative 3?
Minus 4 or
Minus
minus
4
4 and negative
or minus
negative 2.
4 and
Correct.
negative 2.
Correct. Very good. So negative 4 and negative 2 are the solution to this equation. Now let me remind you about the definition of absolute value and real number 6. Okay. Can you tell me the definition of 8, where 8 is any real number? This is our previous materials. Yeah, we have just learned about this. The definition of 8, where 8 is any real number. What's the definition? What's the definition of absolute value 8? Let me give an 8, any real number, Then what's the definition? What's the definition of absolute value of 8? The formal, I want the formal definition.
X is positive whenever X is greater than
Okay, 8 positive.
whenever
Absolute value of 8 is itself 8 whenever
X greater
than
0
or equals
0.
and then
X,
the
the absolute value
equals negative 8
the absolute value of
8
X is
negative 8
negative X whenever X is less than 0.
Okay, correct. Yeah. Good job. So this definition of absolute value of 8, where 8 is any real number, right? The absolute value of 8 is 8 whenever x positive or equals 0. Yeah. And equals negative x whenever x negative number. So based on this definition, can you tell me the absolute value is square root 3?
Square root 3.
Square root 3. Why? Many times I have told you, don't try to solve the problem by following the example that I have just given to you. But try to solve the problem by using the concept. Understand the concept first, and then apply the concept, solve the equation. Okay? Why? Based on the definition, absolute value equals 8, equal itself. The absolute value 8 equal itself whenever x positive or equals 0. Is positive or negative?
Positive.
Positive.
Positive. So the absolute value of square root 3 is itself square root 3. And then what's the absolute value? Negative 3 over 5.
3 over 5.
Why? Why? What's the reason? What's your reason? Why is your answer 3 over 5? Back to the definition. Back to the definition. This negative or positive?
Negative.
Negative. Whenever A negative, so the absolute value A is opposite. Opposite. What's the opposite of negative 3 over 5? 3 over 5. Okay. What is the absolute value? 2 minus 7?
5.
5. Correct. Now let's try to solve the problem by the concept or by the definition of absolute value. Okay. Try to solve the problem, not by the concept of this time. This time by the concept of or the definition of absolute value. How many? X is negative or positive? X.
Positive.
No, it's positive. How do you know X is positive? X negative or positive? Who can answer?
Positive.
How do you know? How do you know?
Because more than
Can positive
0.
or
Or of
How do you know X?
positive.
How do you know? How do you know X greater than 0? How do you know?
Can positive or negative.
Yeah. X negative or positive? If you answer positive, how do you know?
The concept.
Because
Back to the concept. Back to the definition, please. Okay.
From the definition.
I have not given a specific condition to X. X is any real number such that the absolute value of X equals 3. X is any real number.
X
How do you
is
know? How do you know
3
X
or minus
positive?
3.
How do you know X is positive?
X
Negative or positive?
Both of them.
Both of them. It may be negative
Or
and
positive.
positive. X may be negative. If X is negative, so X must be negative 3. If X is positive, X must be 3. Okay? So according to the concept or the definition of absolute value, we have two possibilities for X. It may be negative or positive. Whenever X is positive, X must be 3.
3.
Okay?
Yeah.
Whenever X is negative, X must be negative 3. Okay. X equals negative 3 or equals 3. So negative 3 and 3 are the solution of this equation, the absolute value equation. If I put your equation, what is the solution to this equation? So the answer negative 3 and 3. Now let's go to the next problem. A minus 2, negative or positive? A minus 2, negative or positive?
Can be positive, can be negative.
Negative, maybe
Correct. It may be negative or positive.
Negative.
A minus 2 may be negative 5, okay? A minus 2 may be 5. Okay. So A minus 2 may be negative. When it's negative, A minus 2 must be negative 5. When it's positive, minus 2 must be positive 5.
Mana 7?
And then solve the problem. I think all of you can solve the problem. This is one variable equation. It's easy for you to solve it. Eh? So what's number for A? There are two numbers for A.
Ustad,
And 7 and
-3,
Minus 3 and
7.
or 7. So these are the solution. So this is definition of the absolute value equation. And equation is called the absolute value equation. Then when it contains absolute value and some variable, for example, absolute value A equals 3, it belongs to the absolute value equation, and then the absolute value A minus 2 equals 5, it belongs to the absolute value equation of number 3, number 4. All of them are the absolute value equation, because this equation contains absolute value, and some variable. The first equation contains the variable A. We have variable A for number 2, we have variable B for number 3, and we have variable Y for number 4. So all of them are the example of the absolute value equation. Now, let me take your understanding about the equation, absolute value equation. I want Bahira to solve this problem. I want Bahira. Where is Bahira? Do you hear me, Bahira?
Yes.
What's the solution to this equation? What is the solution to this equation?
Negative 6 and 6
Negative 6
and 6.
and
6.
6. Okay, correct. W equals negative 6 or W equals 6. And then I want Asrorido to answer this question.
Yeah, different number.
I want Asrorido to answer. Let's see the opposite. Not that. See a positive real number. So what is a real number? Real number Y. Why? Let's specify this equation.
Y.
Not that.
Y.
Y equals?
Y equals C or Y equals negative C.
Okay, correct. Y equals negative C or Y equals C. This is the solution to the problem number 2. And then number 3. Okay. Gina Salwa, it's your turn, Gina Salwa, to solve the problem.
X.
You can write down first. To solve the problem, it requires several steps, not one step. It requires maybe 2 or 3 steps to solve the problem. Okay, you can write first, and then tell me the final result.
X.
X
is negative 3
negative 3.
or
X
x.
negative 3.
Yes.
It is
Eh.
correct. It's correct. At
No.
X equals negative 3. Please put negative 3.
X negative 1
X negative 1. And then
or x is 3.
okay. Let's do together. Step. First step.
Oh.
X minus 3 may be negative or positive. When x minus 3 is negative, so x minus 3 must be negative 2.
Yes.
Whenever x minus 3, minus 1, minus 1, sorry, x minus 1 is positive, so x minus 1 must be 2. Yeah, x minus 1 may be negative, yeah. Negative 2,
Negative 2.
x minus 1 may be 2. So by the cancellation, yeah, by adding one on the both right side and the left side, we have x equal negative 1.
Okay.
On the other hand, by adding plus 1 to left side, on the right side we have x equal 3. So the solution to this equation, the absolute value equation, negative 1 and 3. How about this? This is more complicated than usual. Absolute value x plus 1 equals absolute value 1 minus 8. Can you determine x such that this equation hold? Please listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. X plus 1 may be negative or positive. Similarly, 1 minus 8 may be positive or negative. Okay? X plus 1 may be negative or positive. Similarly, 1 minus 8 may be negative or positive. So we have 4 cases. We have 4 cases. The first case, x plus 1 positive and 1 minus 8 also positive. Okay, the first case, listen to me. Yeah. Once again, x plus 1 may be negative or positive. 1 minus 8 may be negative or positive. So we have 4 cases. The first case, or case 1, a plus b is positive and 1 minus a positive. The second case, or the case 2, a plus 1 negative and 1 minus a negative. Both of them are negative. And the case 3, x plus 1 positive and 1 minus 8 negative. The case 4, x plus 1 positive, 1 minus 8 negative. But these cases can be simplified to be 2 cases. X plus 1, yeah. There's 4 cases can be simplified to be 2 cases only. The first case, x plus 1 positive, 1 minus a positive. Okay, it's the first case. And the second case, x plus 1 positive and 1 minus a negative. Now we have 2 cases. The first case, x plus 1 equals negative times 1 minus 8. And the second case, x plus 1 equals minus 1 minus 8. So we have 1 equals negative 1 is impossible, is absurd, or we usually call it contradiction. It's contradiction. And then based on x plus 1 equals 1 minus x, we have x equals 0. So to make us sure this is the solution, you can substitute 0 to variable x. Yeah? Please replace x by 0. If we replace x by 0, 0 plus 1, 1. 1 minus 0, 1. So the left side and the right side are same. Okay? So we have proved that this is the only solution to this question. So the solution to the absolute value equation like this, where the absolute value x plus 1 equals absolute value 1 minus x is 0. This is the only solution to this question. Okay, you understand? Once again, I repeat. If you find out the question like this, you can divide this problem into two cases. First case, x plus 1 equals negative or minus 1 minus x. Or x plus 1 equals 1 minus x. And then solve the problem. It's the problem. Because you have learned this material when you were a student of junior high school. This is one variable equation. I think so. Hey. I'm sorry. Time is running out. Now it's just 8 o'clock. Hey, let me give you assignment. Let's give you assignment. Find out the solution to each equation below. Okay, I will share this file to you later. Find out the solution to each equation below. You don't need to write down this problem. I will share this PowerPoint to you later. What is it? Exercise say for you. Open my model and do evaluation B. You can find it on the page 18. Solve the problem 1A, B, C by using the concept of the step. You can find out this problem on page 18 of my model. Solve the problem 1A, 1B, 1C by using the concept of the step. And solve the problem 2A, 2I by using the definition of absolute value. Okay, it's time for me to say goodbye to you. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.